Well, good morning. So today we are on lesson number 107 of a workbook of A Course in Miracles. And I've actually brought a friend with me to help me do this lesson. He's going to stay here with me and whisper in my ear that which, what? Okay. That which we're going to express today. Truth, truth will correct all the errors of my mind. Isn't that right? Oh, good. I see I get agreement somewhere. All right, I like that. So, why don't we just let it? He thinks it's funny too. He's smiling. Truth will correct all the errors in my mind. Um, so, truth will correct all the errors in my mind. And the only thing we would ever have to do, I would ever have to do, or you would ever have to do, is actually say, okay, let me invite the truth in to correct all the errors of my mind. Now, many, many of you, as well as I have, and this is how and why I can speak to this, isn't that right? Let's see. Why I can speak to this is because in the moments, in those instances where we have desired this to be true above all else today, I want truth to correct all the errors of my mind. And in the instant where that desire for that correction from the truth is wholly desired and wholly welcome, the truth has been waiting upon your welcome and your desire for it to be true, so that it can correct all the errors of your mind. And the only error that will ever eventually be corrected is the one in which you have forgotten that truth is true and nothing else is true, and have wandered much further today than you thought, and you can't seem to find your way out of the woods. That is what this lesson is designed to do. When you can't find your way out of the woods, you can stop anywhere at any point in time and ask for a new direction. Not a new direction in the sense of do I go right or left or forward or backward, but do I allow the truth to correct all errors of direction within space and time, so that my mind is firmly planted and desirous of that which requires no choice whatsoever, because there is no opposition to it and there is nothing that is opposite to it. What's real cannot be threatened. What is unreal does not exist. And herein lies the peace of God. So I was reading this, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. What do you think? Yep, it's beautiful. I got second opinion, and the second opinion was an affirmation of the beauty of this lesson and the reality of it, right? Very good. He doesn't say much. He's a little shy. This is his first time. This is his first time on TV. He's testing it out just to see whether or not this is a way in which he would like to pursue his help, pursue continuing to offer me his help. He is a relative of the Care Bears, and many of you remember the effect that the Care Bear stare had on you when you first encountered it. And he is here to represent, in a sense, the truth of the fact that the Care Bear stare cannot not work, because they, Care Bears, had many adventures in which, despite their seeming not so much disunity, but in spite of the sibling rivalry that they experienced in the desire to demonstrate the light that they had all been given in any given moment when there was the need, they did not fail to come together and offer wholeheartedly from their own heart and mind the willingness to Care Bear stare that which required their love and light in order to help heal the errors and misfortunes that perhaps unwittingly they had let themselves into. And Nicholas, of course, is the prime example of all of that. So today, when truth has come, it does not stay a while to disappear or change to something else. It does not shift and alter in its form, nor come and go and go and come again. It stays exactly as it always was, to be depended on in every need and trusted with a perfect trust in all the seeming difficulties and the doubts that the appearances of the world presents engender. They will merely flow away when truth corrects the errors in your mind. And one of the main reasons why that is all true is because the quality of mercy is not strained. It droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven upon the place beneath. It is twice blessed. It blesseth him that giveth, and takes, and him that takes. 'Tis mightiest in the mightiest. It becomes the throned monarch better than his crown. His scepter shows the force of temporal power, the attribute to awe and majesty, wherein doth sit the dread and fear of kings. But mercy is above this sceptered sway. It is enthroned in the hearts of kings. It is an attribute of God himself. An earthly power doth then show likest God's when mercy seasons justice. Therefore, Jew, through justice consider this, that in the course of justice none of us should see salvation. We do pray for mercy, and that same prayer doth teach us all to render the deeds of mercy. I have spoke thus much to mitigate the justice of thy plea, which if thou follow the strict court of Venice, must need give sentence 'gainst the merchant there. What we are looking for, the truth, to correct all errors of our mind, cannot be bought with anything in this world. It comes when we desire what is not of this world, but is of God. And when we desire wholeheartedly that which is of God, we are given that which is of God. Everything else in the world has a price, and every price is an adjudication of value, of worth. And this is the pearl worth any price. Give up the world, it holds nothing that I want. Truth will correct the errors in my mind. When truth has come, it harbors in its wings the gift of perfect constancy and love which does not falter in the face of pain, but looks beyond it, steadily and sure. Here is the gift of healing, for the truth needs no defense, and therefore no attack is possible. Illusions can be brought to truth to be corrected, but the truth stands far beyond illusions and cannot be brought to them to turn them into truth. The illusion will never be true. It can reflect the truth, and the way it reflects the truth is when our mind is wholly dedicated to truth and accepts the truth that corrects all errors. Now, each and every one of us, and this is what I start out to say, each and every one of us, and many of you who have studied A Course in Miracles, and many of you not, because the truth is not confined to those who studied A Course in Miracles. The truth is given to each and every one of us who desires it above all else and is willing to let the desire for anything else go. It doesn't require training in that sense. It requires willingness. Now, we may have to train our mind in a systematic way through the utilization of concepts to discover that we want that willingness through the reasonability of Jesus' mind, through the mind of Christ, to demonstrate to us why, for an instant, especially when we find ourselves in a jam, right? Especially when we find ourselves in a jam. Truth does not come and go, nor shift and change in this appearance now and then in that, evading capture and escaping grasp. It does not hide. It stands in open light, in obvious accessibility. It is impossible that anyone could seek it truly and would not exceed. Today belongs to truth, as does every single instant. Give truth its due, and it will give you yours. You were not meant to suffer and to die. Your Father wills these dreams be gone. Let truth correct them all. We do not ask for what we do not have. We merely ask for what belongs to us, that we recognize it is our own. Are you my own? I'm yours too. Okay, so what I wanted to say is this. And this is true. And you know this from your own experience. It's just that the nature of consciousness that we're participating in order to bring about the entirety of the correction, so that salvation can be in effect all inclusive. It happens. There's a demonstration in each and every one of us. And when this happens, when you get to the point in your own mind, and ultimately that's what forgiveness is. When you get to the point in your own mind when there's nothing left to do and you've run out of your own ideas and you no longer want the results of your own ideas, you finally surrender enough so that something else happens entirely. And what happens entirely is the dawning of the truth upon your mind. Now, you may not have yet given whole welcome to it in other points in time, but at that moment in time you have. And when you experience the truth, it has corrected all the errors of your mind, and there's no more errors to correct, nor is there any opposition to errors that have not been corrected. It corrects in totality, because truth is total, it's whole, and it's perfect. It is not partial. Partiality is the nature and domain of the ego, wherein it thinks it can pick the errors that it would like corrected and maintain that which it would like to still hold on to for a little while. But in those instances, and each and every one of you, I'm sure, has had those moments. And one of the benefits of the Course in Miracles, and one of the reasons why I think it has been given to us in the time that we have it now, in this particular era of time, is because many, many, many of you, through no fault of your own, have had these anomalous moments where something has dawned on you to show you the perfection, the love and light in its entirety. And what we've done in the past is attempt to duplicate the circumstances under which that had occurred through manipulating the external environment. Now, what we're being allowed and afforded with A Course in Miracles is the recognition that it was not the external environment and the manipulation of it that brought about the experience of the truth, but the way in which we utilized our heart and our mind so that the truth that is already within us could be given a space to rise up and enter into us to demonstrate the totality of its reality and the unreality. And this is part of the demonstration within space and time, is not only demonstrating to us the totality of the reality of truth, but likewise to the split in our mind, demonstrating the totality of the unreality of the error and the illusion within which the error can likewise seem to exist. That is why, ultimately, this Course is telling you there is no world within which any of this has ever happened, could ever happen, and will ever happen in the future. Now, that may seem nihilistic, but it's only nihilistic to that which believes that the illusion has reality, and reality can be an illusion. So when you have these moments, when the totality of correction, when the totality of the truth has corrected you, it has corrected all the errors of your mind, and you stand there in a pristine moment of perfection where there is nothing left to correct. Now, is that maintainable in space and time? Well, it is not maintainable in space and time when still within us there are errors that we would like to persist. But every time one of those errors is brought to light, the entirety of the correction is available to us. That's why one of the reasons why Jesus says this Course will be believed in its entirety or not at all. And it is entirely true right here, right now. And it does not depend on the time that you take to learn it for it to be true, although your experience of the ability to recognize the totality of correction and the totality of the unreality of the illusion, and to maintain that awareness, in a sense, to keep that awareness in your awareness, even in the midst of, let's say, the apparent continuation of the illusion, is what makes you the savior of the world. Because finally you've said yes to your function, and you've decided to exclude nothing, nor let anything be excluded from your acceptance of the totality of the truth as being your reality, and therefore the reality of every brother who is here along with you, along with my friend, this bear, who is so willing to help me bring to you the truth. So today we practice on the happy note of certainty that has been born of truth. The happy note of certainty that's been born of the truth, based on the fact that at some point in your mind, as Jesus says, there is no one in the continuum of space and time that has not experienced light at some moment. It's just the light gets associated with space and time rather than with God, and this is the undoing of the false associations of our mind and the ability for the truth to replace all errors in my mind, in my heart, and in the hearts and minds of all my brothers who we offer the space and time that seems to be continuation of the illusion, within which they can find it too along with us, and we enjoin them joyfully in that journey without distance to a place that we have never left.